Well, Marshall, welcome to the program, and thank you for making some time to speak. What was your musical background around the time you arrived at Camp Taconic in the summer of 1978?
So if it's 1978, that would have been almost 15 years that I started my first xylophone lessons. Actually, that month I came up with my another great interest. I could recite the names of the presidents in less than 12 seconds if you want that.
Yes, we must hear that. Now, without further ado, the great Marshall Zucker is going to recite the name of every president. Now, you can name every president that's been?
That's been and that will be.
That will be. You'll be able to include the will be's up to the year 3000, 4000?
Well, those I can't.
Oh, okay. Is our country going to make it that long?
I know it will.
On your marks, get set, go.
Watching me have Jason Nelson, Wrong, Jackson, Bjorn Harrison, Tyler Polk, Telephone, Pierce Buchanan, Johnson, Great as he got there, all the Cleveland, Harrison, Cleveland, McKinley, Roosevelt, Jefferson, Harding, Cool, Juve, Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Kenny Johnson, Full, Carter, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden. Okay, I have to get that new one in there.
Right, because you're not used to it yet.
Yeah.
But that was excellent.
Thank
You
you.
know what? That was almost like Danny Kaye doing Tchaikovsky.
So once I got to Taconic, I had those years of experience. I loved music, and I knew that I was not going to be a good athletic counselor. I was not going to be able to help you fellas with any of that. And of course, I knew, I was a teacher already for 2 years, and I loved music. So I was hoping there'd be somebody like you who would be interested in this sort of music. And certainly you were. And you brought a few of the other fellas into it too.
I did, really.
I remember this very clearly. I was asked to put on a talent show. So it was a great experience. And one thing that you wanted to do is sing. You wanted to sing some Beatles songs, and you brought along Bobby and Adam. They joined you, and we did some. We definitely did all My Loving. It was nice that you brought the other fellas along into this singing, and it was a very nice experience that we did. I mean, I could remember your enthusiasm about certain things. You had a classic quote from Gold Rush. You worked very hard collecting rocks, and you honestly said this. Said, "This may kill me, but if we win, it's worth it."
Yes, I had that stick-to-itiveness.
You were funny. Acting. Look, we put on a lovely show that year. If you remember, it was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was an excellent show. It was one of the great shows of that summer. I know that you liked being in that. That's for sure.
I played Doc, the dwarf.
Yeah.
The head dwarf.
Yeah, Doc Dwarf is that's a really great part. There are certain shows I think that would have been good for you. Some more comic parts. For example, thinking back at Guys and Dolls, I don't think that showed off your talent the best. Sky Masterson, I think you would have been better Nathan Detroit.
I appreciate that. And I have to point out to you that only 2.5, 3 years after that Camp Taconic production where I played Sky Masterson, we did it my senior year of high school, and I was cast as Nathan Detroit.
Kingmaker, right here. I don't know if you had any other thoughts, but we certainly have to talk about you being the only boy who was a junior balladeer. There's the picture of me and Jeremy, and you're the only boy in there. I was very proud of you. A lot of nice girls from lower camp. I was very happy that you were there, at least, because I was there.
Ever since 4th grade in school, I would join chorus. In school, it was like, wait, I can go to a class and just sing? That's it?
That's right.
And I loved music even then, as you know. And in fact, when I was in 4th grade, I wrote my first song. It was about a girl that I had a crush on since 3rd grade. I brought that song to camp, but the thing is I didn't play any instruments, and I didn't know how to figure out what the chords were. And thank God you were my counselor.
Yeah, that was a great thing for me too. The music bunk was like my office kind of place, and we pulled over benches. I can picture it now.
Yep.
A couple of little windows and then we sat at the piano and began to figure it out using the sounds on the piano, using the melody, taking the words, and then seeing what nice chords went with it.
Do you remember anything about me approaching you initially to ask for your help?
You talked to me about wanting to, do a song. I couldn't have been happy about that. I mean, now to me was the greatest thing. I mean, to have one of the campers.
It was an absolute thrill for me because here I had been such a fan of the Monkees and just beginning to be a fan of the Beatles. And here I had this crush. And I wrote this song that I really meant what I said in the song, believe it or not, for a 9-year-old, 9.5-year-old. And when I came to you and I was like, I really need to figure out what the chords are. I don't know why, because I had nothing to play it on. I just needed to know. This is what I remember. I came to you. I said, Marshall, I wrote this song before coming to camp.
Yeah.
I don't know what the chords are, but you play an instrument. can you help me figure out and write down what the chords are? I was going to do with
This
it.
sells 1 million. I really should be part of the composer royalty, I guess. But so we did that early on because you had more confidence once we did the talent show.
Well, I thank you for remembering it that way. I always think of myself as a kid who was insecure.
The way you handled it, you wanted to learn a song, and you did something I didn't do. You composed a song at a very young age, and it was a good song. You had good reference. I mean, the Monkees was when I was in 6th and 7th grade, 65, 66, 66, 67. I remember it very well. I remember the first night of junior high when going home and watching that. Well, how did you see the Monkees?
They would rerun these TV shows when I was in elementary school.
And they did some very good songs, and they were good actors. The important thing is you did something to memorialize it. You did something to certify it, which is nice. I mean, it's a great thing. You should be. I'm glad you're still proud of that song. A song I played in 5th grade that I won the talent show for, Java. I still play to this day with great relish, with great love. All my musical obsessions through the years. Franti and Taisha, the piano playing twin, Bob Dylan, the Four Seasons. Certainly after that came Herb Alpert. Very briefly, the Beatles, for only about 2 months. The Baja Marimba Band, then jazz. I could listen to all of them with great pleasure. Again, the connection in music was a great thing. It served you well. It served me well. Look, we're talking to each other for 42 years.
It was around that time that I was getting into the Beatles, and I wrote this song. I knew I could sing the melody to you to figure out the chords. Then we went to a bridge. Yes, I love you. Found a D minor. Love you more than anyone I've ever loved. And you're like, that's a very Beatle-y change, you said to me at the time. And it impacted me because I was like, oh, wow, I like the Beatles.
Beatles played a big part in the camp. We sang 8 days a week. We sang Yesterday.
Well, what was the story behind you organizing our bunk to sing One Tin Soldier in the talent show?
I knew I had to do something to get out there. Situation where we had 6 campers, another counselor who could play the guitar, and he played the guitar. I played the bells, and I just wanted to do that. I thought it was a good song.
You know that you're our favorite counselor, certainly one of the tops we've ever had, and we were in that camp for a long time. And when you got us together for One Tin Soldier, it really brought us together.
That's nice. That was an early activity in the summer. That was one of the first activities of the camp. Remember, we got some extra honors too. We were the flag raisers.
We let our bunk raise the flag.
I mean, we were of the lower camp groups. We were the only ones with personality of the group.
Do you recall your first impression of me as a camper?
Now, the first thing I noticed when I got off the bus, I noticed something. Somebody I recognized, and I nodded back. Who is this? And then I realized it was Zoe's father, Martin Balsam, the Academy Award winner. Every year,
I have to find out how I can get to him on visiting day, so I can find out how to make it in showbiz. That was always on my mind.
I met you and the other new campers that I had to meet, Mike, Brian, and Bobby. And I met you, and I said, gee, this guy wears glasses like I do. This is great. And we sat together. You told some good stories. You were very friendly. You were outgoing. You certainly were in the extrovert category, which was a good thing.
There were certain kids who went to camp who went on to great success in music and other areas. And 2 of them were brother and sister who were in a well-known rock band in the 90s called Veruca Salt. You may remember Jimmy Shapiro and his sister Nina, who was one of the front people of the band. Did you have experiences musically or creatively otherwise with them?
Ironically, remember, I can't play the guitar, but I was Nina Gordon Shapiro's first guitar teacher. I just thought about that the other day. It's an ironic thing because she signed up for loads of classes and she was very enthusiastic. Of course, she did very well in all the shows. The last 2 years, she did Ethel Merman part. She was Annie Oakley in Annie Get Your Gun, and then, of course, she was the Ethel Merman part. Jimmy is a wonderful fellow. He was in that great group. They did a funny thing happen on the way to the Forum. He played Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady, and unfortunately, he missed something that only he knew it, and then I would have known, and he got very up. He was very, he was a brilliant person. He was a brilliant person, I'm sure. Got very upset by that, but I was very, very fond of him. I invited him to play sing one morning, and he slept late, so he missed that, but thank you so much, Dave, for thinking of me.
Well, Marshall, thank you so much for going out of your way to share your memories about these things. It's always meant a lot to me.
It couldn't mean any more than what it means to me, so thanks a lot.